In the meantime, let's go back to New York City. Want to get some updates on the case that is unfolding there regarding Sean Diddy Combs.
Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff.
As the new year dawns, the man who spent decades fostering an image of untouchable dominance, once known for his lavish lifestyle, is confronted with a reality that even his most ardent critics never anticipated. Life behind the cold, unrelenting bars of the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. How does someone so used to private jets, designer suits, and A-list parties adapt to a world of steel bunks, fluorescent lights, and institutional rules? Diddy Combs, a name synonymous with luxury, power, and success, now finds himself in the most impossible circumstances. The response appears to be not very good.
To the latest on the arrest of Sean Diddy Combs. This one has so many people talking. The disgraced music mogul facing federal racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking charges. Both the prosecution and defense teams are set to discuss the next phase of action following the indictment as investigators work to determine potential co-conspirators. But how exactly did we get here?
For Diddy, the adjustment has been nothing short of grueling. It's not just the harsh physical realities of incarceration weighing on him, but also the immense psychological strain. Insiders close to the situation have revealed that the music mogul is struggling to adapt to his new environment, a far cry from the world of luxury and control he once commanded. This is someone who's always lived life on his own terms, a source familiar with the case disclosed. To go from that to having every minute of your day dictated by someone else, it's hitting him hard, and it shows. Observers at his recent court appearances have noted a shocking transformation. Diddy, now visibly thinner and grayer, barely resembles the larger-than-life figure who once dominated red carpets and boardrooms.
Yeah, but so there's still, I mean, it's crazy too because there's still more happening in court. Like, I mean, everything is still active even though we're not hearing about it as much anymore. And the people may be fatigued like we talked about prior.
Diddy's appearance has sparked widespread speculation, with many wondering if the stress of his situation is taking a serious toll on his health. Others have pointed to his reported refusal to eat the meals provided at the detention center, a decision said to be driven by concerns for his safety. According to a prison consultant familiar with such cases, Diddy may fear that his food could be tampered with, a possibility that feels plausible given his high-profile status and the enemies he may have made over the years. Imagine someone with outside connections bribing a prison worker to slip something into his meals, the consultant suggested. If I were in his position, I'd be cautious too. Instead of consuming standard prison fare, Diddy is reportedly relying on commissary items like chips and pre-packaged snacks, far from the nutritious and lavish meals he's accustomed to.
Wait a minute, say that again. Say that again, back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is
yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of.
This concern for his own security goes beyond just his diet. Reports indicate that Diddy has been subject to increased security measures, such as being kept in the special housing unit, an area designated for prisoners who may be dangerous or a threat to others. While this isolation provides some protection, it also increases the psychological burden because, while being cut off from the outside world may protect him from potential threats, it also means spending more time by himself thinking, which is a frightening prospect for someone who is facing the loss of their freedom as well as the breakdown of their carefully maintained public image.
Sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, at a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the video.
During a recent court hearing, Diddy was seen mouthing the words, "You okay?" to one of his sons in the gallery. This was a rare moment of vulnerability from a man who has always projected strength and control. His children, who grew up in luxury, now have to face the harsh reality of seeing their father in a prison jumpsuit, a stark reminder of how quickly fortunes can change. Diddy's incarceration has had equally startling ripple effects for his family outside the walls of the detention facility.
Fact occur, their argument is more than likely going to be that this activity was consensual, that this person was a willing participant, and not only that, but that these individuals assumed the risk of being present at those parties, of engaging and voluntarily engaging in this conduct and being in those spaces, consuming alcohol and things of that nature.
While Diddy's family may be rallying around him, the same cannot be said for the court of public opinion. His arrest and the serious charges against him have ignited intense debate. Some staunchly defend the music mogul, while others condemn him outright. The allegations, ranging from coercion to organized misconduct, paint a damning picture, leaving even his most loyal fans questioning how well they truly know the man behind the music. Diddy's legal team has been working tirelessly to secure his release, proposing multi-million-dollar bail packages and house arrest options. However, all requests have been denied, with the court citing concerns about potential witness tampering and his risk of flight. The decision has made it clear Diddy will remain behind bars until his trial begins in May. The denial of bail has only added to his frustration, and according to insiders, it's beginning to show. Reports from the detention center claim Diddy has had moments of emotional outbursts, including one instance where he allegedly begged guards to take him to the prison hospital, claiming he was on the verge of a breakdown. While his legal team has downplayed these claims, describing them as standard stress reactions to a highly unfamiliar environment, the rumors persist. These whispers have only fueled further speculation about his mental state, adding another layer of intrigue to an already dramatic case.
Buying it all, Kana, and safety can mean a couple different things. Safety just doesn't mean free from harm of violence. Safety can also too means emotional and mental dynamics that could occur by Sean Combs reaching out to potential witness to get them to possibly change their testimony.
Then there's the matter of Diddy's public image, arguably the heaviest burden of all. For decades, Diddy has been more than just a musician or businessman. He's been a symbol of ambition, success, and cultural influence. To see that image so publicly tarnished is not only a blow to his ego, but also a significant threat to the empire he's spent years building. His lawyers have accused prosecutors of orchestrating a smear campaign, pointing to leaked videos and strategically timed media leaks as evidence of an effort to sway public opinion against their client. Whether or not these claims hold weight, one thing is undeniable. The court of public opinion is a powerful force, and right now, it's not in Diddy's favor. Adding to his woes are the conditions at the Metropolitan Detention Center, infamous for its poor living standards. Former inmates and legal experts have described the facility as hell on earth, citing overcrowding, unsanitary conditions, and a lack of basic amenities. For someone like Diddy, who has spent his life surrounded by luxury, the adjustment has been particularly harsh. A former inmate-turned-prison consultant described the grim experience of being housed in the Special Housing Unit, HU, where Diddy is reportedly being held. You're in a cell that's maybe 8 by 10 feet, with a steel bed and a thin mattress. There's no pillow, no books, nothing to distract you. It's just you and your thoughts. Yet, despite these challenges, those close to Diddy insist he's staying focused on his defense. Sources say he's been dedicating his time to working out, meditating, and reviewing legal documents to prepare for his upcoming trial. His legal team has expressed confidence in his ability to fight the charges, claiming the evidence against him is largely circumstantial. But with each passing day, the pressure continues to mount, and the cracks in Diddy's once impenetrable facade are becoming harder to ignore. Whether he can weather this storm remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: the stakes couldn't be higher.
Keep saying to me, like, how did you keep, why did you keep going? Why were you there? I'm like, it literally is around me. If I don't stay at home, this is the atmosphere I'm in. Like, I have no choice.
The drama taking place under the chilly and unforgiving walls of Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center is everything from static. Shell, once a symbol of luxury and the reigning king of hip-hop, Diddy is now dealing with a daily reality that is very different from his previous extravagant life. The once dominant businessman, who was known for his sharp suits, private jets, and exclusive parties, is now navigating the grim conditions of one of the nation's most infamous detention facilities. And while his legal issues are getting worse every day, rumors about his behavior behind bars are just as fascinating.
He is very, very dominant. Like, he wants to control the situation. He wants to control his inner circle. He wants to make everyone have a good time and enjoy his parties. And so, you know, it is scary because you think, you know, this person or possibly his social network or the people he's around could make or break your career.
Insider reports vividly depict a man frantically attempting to adapt to a world that provides no luxury, no special treatment, and no escape. Former inmates have described the facility as a nightmare of overcrowding, poor conditions, and an endless cycle of tension and violence. One former inmate even called it hell on earth. Diddy, who once commanded a sprawling empire, is now confined to a small cell that feels more like a punishment than a temporary setback. By all accounts, Diddy isn't immune to the harsh realities of his new surroundings.
You know, if you say the wrong thing or you complain or you know, I don't know, there's an element where you're just, I guess manipulated in a way to make you feel like, oh, you have to please everyone around you. You can't say anything wrong. You don't want to say a bad thing. Or, you know, when they're constantly asking you, would you like to do drugs? And you're like, well, I don't do drugs. And they're like, well, why don't you do drugs?
Perhaps the most compelling aspect of Diddy's incarceration is the psychological toll it's taking on him. According to those close to the situation, the stress of his legal battles, coupled with the isolation of his environment, is pushing him to his breaking point. Rumors have surfaced about moments of vulnerability, including a reported outburst where he begged to be taken to the prison hospital, fearing he was on the verge of a breakdown. While his team has dismissed these claims, insisting he is simply adjusting to a challenging situation, the cracks in his once unshakable facade are becoming increasingly evident. Adding to the drama are reports of Diddy's refusal to eat standard prison meals. The reasoning behind this decision is as dramatic as the rest of his case. According to a prison consultant familiar with the facility, Diddy is deeply paranoid about the possibility of tampering. Someone in his position has every reason to be cautious, the consultant explained. He's made plenty of enemies over the years, and the idea that someone could use food to harm him isn't far-fetched. Instead of relying on the prison's meals, Diddy has been surviving on commissary snacks, a far cry from the gourmet meals he once enjoyed in his life of luxury.
He was using, allegedly, these events to invite them back to these private mansion parties and hotel parties and God knows what else. But he was utilizing the branded events to be able to, you know, get the girls to come over to his private spaces.
His placement in the special housing unit, a portion designated for prisoners who need extra protection, speaks volumes about the perceived risks he faces while in isolation, but the worries about his safety don't end there. May protect him from possible dangers. Additionally, it intensifies the mental strain as days stretch into nights with little to break the monotony. The loneliness is definitely overwhelming for someone who relied on being surrounded by people for a living, and it's a long cry from the busy social scene he was a part of only a few months ago.
There is so many people involved in this situation that works the machine here, that, you know, Diddy's obviously the head of the whole situation, you know, the king of parties, but there is multiple other people involved that are helping along the situation or, you know, participating in.
Meanwhile, Diddy's legal team is facing an uphill battle to secure his release, but the courts remain unmoved. The charges against him are severe, and prosecutors have portrayed him as not only a flight risk, but also someone capable of influencing witnesses if given the opportunity. Judges have repeatedly denied his bail requests, citing concerns about obstruction and the possibility that he could use his significant resources to evade justice. These rulings have left Diddy in a precarious position, forcing him to endure the harsh realities of detention as he prepares for a trial that could define the rest of his life. While the legal proceedings are at the forefront, the conditions at the Metropolitan Detention Center are equally difficult to ignore. The facility has long been criticized for its substandard conditions, including overcrowding, unsanitary facilities, and inadequate medical care. Inmates have described it as a place where hope goes to die, and even judges have expressed hesitation about sending defendants there. For someone like Diddy, accustomed to the finest luxuries, the adjustment has been particularly brutal. Reports suggest he has struggled with the poor quality of food, the complete lack of privacy, and the oppressive environment, an experience that starkly contrasts with the life of privilege and comfort he once led.
Surprised with the decision. I'm surprised that Judge Subramanian entertained it. He held a 2-hour hearing, which we were covering live, and he issued a 5-page written order. Most other judges, including the 2 previous judges, to consider this issue, summarily denied the bail motion. I think a lot of it stems from Judge Subramanian being a newer judge. This is a Biden appointee.
The high-profile nature of Diddy's case only adds to the complexity of his situation. With the world watching, every detail of his time behind bars is magnified, fueling endless speculation and debate. Some argue that his status as a public figure makes him a target, not just within the facility, but also in the court of public opinion. Others contend that his wealth and influence should afford him better treatment, a notion that has drawn fierce criticism from those who view his incarceration as a long overdue reckoning. As if the harsh conditions weren't enough, Diddy also faces the emotional strain of being separated from his family. His children, who have been a steady source of support throughout his career, are now forced to see their father in a way they never imagined. During a recent court appearance, Diddy shared a silent yet poignant moment with one of his sons, mouthing the words, "You okay?" A gesture meant to reassure him that he's holding up. Captured by onlookers, the moment offered a rare glimpse into the deeply personal toll this ordeal is taking on both him and his loved ones.
The flight was always going to be a tough argument for the government because obviously Combs voluntarily came to New York. He surrendered his passports through his lawyer. He could have fled after the March raids of his Miami and Los Angeles homes, but he didn't. He has access to 2 private jets. I think it was a tougher argument. I know the government made the argument, but clearly the best argument was the dangerousness and the witness tampering. They had much more evidence.
The difficulties don't stop there, though, as fresh accusations have kept coming to light, compounding the already formidable legal battle he is facing. One particularly startling allegation concerns a former assistant who accused Diddy of fostering a toxic workplace full of unreasonable demands and upsetting incidents. In the lawsuit, the assistant claims that hotel staff were frequently paid off to remain silent, which only serves to highlight the sense of secrecy and control that allegedly defined Diddy's inner world. The assistant was required to clean up after extravagant parties that frequently went out of control, leaving behind a trail of chaos that included everything from broken furniture to unspeakable messes.
Get another shot with Judge Subramanian? Or what will be his likelihood of success in a different court? Because there's currently a pending appeal at the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. So to get into all of this, I want to bring on former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani, friend of the show. Nima, thanks so much for coming on. First, before we even get into what he can do next, were you surprised?
The latest bombshell in Diddy's legal saga comes in the form of a lawsuit filed by LaTroy Grayson, who has shared a harrowing account of her experience at one of his infamous parties. Grayson, who won an all-expenses-paid trip to one of these events through a radio contest, alleges that what began as a dream quickly turned into a nightmare. According to her account, she was separated from her companion upon arrival, given drinks that made her feel unwell, and later woke up in a hospital with no memory of what had occurred. The chilling details of her story paint a disturbing picture, and her decision to come forward now, after so many years, highlights the growing wave of allegations against the former music mogul. Grayson's lawsuit doesn't stop at Diddy. It also names other entities, including the radio station and hotel involved in the contest. She argues that they all played a role in enabling the events that led to her trauma, raising serious questions about accountability and the culture surrounding Diddy's parties. What makes Grayson's case particularly notable is her choice to publicly identify herself rather than remain anonymous. This decision adds weight to her claims and sets her apart from many other accusers who have come forward in recent months.
Is this completely out of control party on a super yacht, including various celebrities, that when you read it, it kind of rings true. I mean, when you read it, it doesn't come off as being something that's completely unbelievable. You have to take into consideration.
As the allegations continue to mount, the narrative surrounding Diddy grows increasingly complex. On one hand, he's a self-made success story, a man who built an empire from the ground up, inspiring millions with his ambition and drive. On the other hand, the accusations paint a far darker picture, one of a man who allegedly used his power and influence to manipulate and control those around him. The contrast is striking, leaving many to question who the real Diddy is and whether the once unstoppable mogul can ever recover from this devastating fall from grace. For now, he remains behind bars, awaiting a trial that promises to be one of the most closely watched court cases in recent history. The stakes couldn't be higher, not just for Diddy, but for everyone connected to his career. With his reputation, freedom, and legacy on the line, the outcome of this case will undoubtedly have far-reaching implications. As the days turn into weeks and the weeks into months, one thing is clear: the story of Sean Combs is far from over. The world is watching, and the questions remain. Will he overcome the allegations and reclaim his legacy? Or is this the final chapter in the story of one of modern entertainment's most influential figures? Share your thoughts and join the discussion. Stay tuned for more updates, celebrity gossip, and intrigue. Until next time, goodbye for now.